I want to start today's episode by having a very small heart attack. But before I do, I want to share my opinion on these, the Oladance OWS Pro open-ear headphones. Now, I've tried hundreds of open-ear headphones over the years, but none have piqued my interest quite as much as these. So let me take you back a month ago when I first unboxed them.
What I will say straight away is that the actual box itself is cardboard. The entire thing looks like recycled cardboard. So a huge round of applause there. Very happy with that. So let's have a look at these then. Inside. Okay. This is actually really nice packaging. I will give them that. This is a little bit bigger than I anticipated, but it is quite flat. Okay, that's interesting. USB-C. Let's open this up. Ooh, okay, these look quite nice. Now, what makes them different is that they don't actually sit inside your ear. They sit on the outside of your ear, like this. Like that. So, in theory, this is better for you because we all know that things that go inside your ear are terrible for your hearing, and everyone who grew up in the 90s onwards is going to lose their hearing at the age of 50. Let's give these a go. Oh, I've only just started the music, and that is surprising, actually, already. Okay, so far so good. Definitely better than I expected. We'll wait until the audio kicks in here. Do you know, I'm actually really surprised. Genuinely, I'm very, very surprised. Let's crank it up a bit. These are remarkable. For what they are, open headphones. I'm actually really quite impressed. Alright. Okay, these have got me interested, that's for sure. What's the audio leakage like? There is some audio leakage. That's less than I thought there'd be, though. Do you know, I actually really like these. Might have to do a full review on these.
So, why open ear headphones? Well, it's for exactly the reason I'm wearing them right now, is that I can run or go out, go for a walk, do my business, but still be able to hear the outside environment quite clear. But what makes these super special is the level of volume and the level of good quality sound that's coming from them. It is nothing like I've tried before from open ear headphones. So let's go back to the country club and have a further chat about the OWS Pro.
I really do mean it when I say that the sound is rather excellent on these. Where other open ear headphones can sound a little tinny, these are really rich with excellent bass. I would almost say that they're fully capable with competing with inner ear headphones, and that's something I've never said about open ear headphones before, ever. Obviously, good sound, though, is subjective, but for me it ticks all the boxes of being warm and rich and full, which I never expected to experience with this type of headphone. If you couldn't tell, I can't quite believe it. Now, the reason for this remarkable sound is in part down to the comparatively large speakers that they've included within each unit, which directs the music straight into your ears from just outside your ear canal. And this is alongside their patented virtual bass 2.0 algorithm, which uses high dynamic power to enhance low frequency sound quality. We'll put in the marketing jargon to one side. Whatever they've done has indeed resulted in a rather excellent full sound, which is a real standout feature of these. Unusually, they've also built in a form of noise cancellation, which has been designed to filter out mid-frequency noise. Now, at first, I was a little bit skeptical of this. How could open ear headphones with no seal around the outside effectively cancel the noise? But they've obviously employed some witches conducting dark magic at Oladance, because This works way better than I thought it would. I was right in the expectation that they're not quite as good as a sealed experience, and that's simply down to physics. Naturally, there's less of a barrier in between you and the noise, so it won't be able to block everything out. However, for open-ear headphones, what they've achieved in terms of noise cancellation is nothing short of impressive for its form factor. Now, to turn on what Oladance are calling their focus mode, you can do that through the app. But the earphones also feature onboard controls too. On both the earphones, there's a small interactive ridge which has a pressure sensor built into it. Now, this means that a slight squeeze and you can control things like play and pause, skipping and activating the voice assistant. It's a reliable and simple way to interact with the earphones, and it's actually very, very similar to the interactions seen in current generation models of AirPods. Except I would say that with these, the OWS Pro, it's actually better. And that's simply because the headphones are hooked onto your head rather than just being a bud that sits inside your ear and falls out every time you try and play with it. This loop design just means that you can safely interact with these without the danger of them falling off. I'm talking about falling off. They are not coming off. I'll have brain damage before they come off. Now, it's also worth pointing out here that the sensor recognises swiping forward and backwards to change the volume. Now, Oladance didn't have to include this, but I'm really pleased that they have done because I've always been a bit of a fan with the volume hotkey on headphones, and I often criticise modern headphones for omitting this. It's always a bit of a faff to get my phone out or try and use voice assistant. Anyway, Oladance get a further brownie point for the fact that they've opened up these controls for complete customization within the app, which is another great touch. It just means that you can customize the controls to suit the functions that you want to access the easiest. So instead of a play or pause on a single squeeze, you might want to activate your voice assistant with that gesture to control other things about your phone. It would be awesome if Oladance added the ability to do things like trigger Siri shortcuts, which as an option could open up the functionality even more. So Oladance, if you're watching this, make that a thing. Now, also within the app, you can change the equalization of the headphones too. You have the option of 2 presets, bass boost or vocal enhance, but to be honest, I think the standard default equalization is the best in terms of its clarity across the board. Now, if none of those are your thing, thankfully they've allowed full customization of the equalization too, but again, the default sound is superb. So for me, there's no real necessity to play around with these settings. Now, let's talk about the styling, because I've yet to address the fact that I think these are some of the most beautifully designed open-ear headphones that exist. They're curvy, they're friendly, they're really solidly built, and although I've got the misty black versions here, they do a bunch of really vibrant looking models such as titanium, green and a pink variety. In terms of their weight and comfort from a design perspective, I think the Oladance have made some really good choices. They are super comfortable to wear with sort of a soft silicone inner accent, which accents the colour very, very nicely. They do, I guess, feel on occasion quite chunky on the ears in respect to size, but they aren't particularly heavy. And they also stay in place really, really well, as I showed earlier, so I'm confident that no matter what I'm doing, these will stay on. But putting sound and quality and design to one side, perhaps the most impressive feature of these headphones is the battery life. Each earphone will last around 16 hours of charge out of the case, which is stunning. And with the case, you get 58 hours of use, which is insane. That's like 2 straight days of using them. Wait, no, 2 and a bit. I think for those that want excellent battery life, these have some of the best battery life for small earphones that I've tested. And they seem to perform pretty well to spec too. The battery life might be slightly shorter if you listen to these on full blast, but they certainly come close to the promised spec, even at full volume. And talking about full volume, supposedly they've built in something called their anti-hearing loss algorithm, which, well, I guess does what it says on the tin. And although I can't possibly prove that this works, I can say that I haven't yet lost my hearing. Now, although the sound is phenomenal and generally the overall experience with these is by far the best experience that I've had from open-ear headphones, there are a couple of things that I feel need to be pointed out. The first is that this is quite a large case, but it is smooth and round. It doesn't feel too out of place in your pocket, but it is large, so there is that to consider. And next, there is some audio leakage. Not much, but there is certainly some. So if you're listening to 50 Shades of Grey audiobook whilst on public transport, you might get a funny look from the old lady sitting next to you. With that said, you can see from my demonstration that during the unboxing, the leak really only becomes audible at around 30 centimeters or so away, perhaps even less. And if the old lady has her head that close to you, then some serious questions need to be asked. But for the most part, at regular volume levels, people aren't going to be hearing as long as they're not invading your personal space. Now, another point is that they might not fit everyone because there's no adjustability with these. But then again, the promotional material shows people of all different sizes using them for things like sports, and they look well fitted. And for me, they fit fantastically. But it's just something to consider. And the last and final point is that these are IPX4 rated. This covers you for some light rain or some sweaty workouts, but it would have been nice for a slightly higher IPX rating, just in case I accidentally stick these through the washing machine, which I've never done with a pair of headphones before, because that would be stupid. Now, there's one more point that needs to be made, and that's the price. These are quite highly priced, coming in at £239. Of course, it would be worth checking the link in the description for any discounts that might be running, but I'll say that at its RRP, it's certainly more expensive than I thought they would be. But Oladance here have sort of got you by the ghoulies. I think that they're fully aware that these are some of the best open-ear headphones that exist right now, and certainly I'll go as far as saying that they're the best sounding ones that I've ever tested. So okay, they might be more expensive than other options, but I can guarantee you that you're gonna find it hard pushed to find a pair that sounds as good as the Oladance OWS Pro, to the point where anything else at cheaper price points just isn't worth it. You might as well save up a couple more pennies and get the OWS Pro for that far superior sound and quality in just a really well-designed piece of kit. Now, it would be worth checking out that link in the description for the most up-to-date price, and you never know, there may be some discounts available, so go and take a look. But if you can't tell, I've been absolutely blown away by these, and they've changed my opinion on open-ear technology. Previously, I never thought that open-ear headphones were worth a second look, but these headphones have shown me what's possible with this type of technology. And one thing's for sure, I'll absolutely be keeping my eyes on Oladance from now on. What do you think? Do you have any recommendations for open-ear headphones that I should take a look at? Let me know in the comments below. I'll be hanging around for the next few hours replying to all your messages, so I'd love to check out your recommendations. So do pop down there and say hi. And if audio technology tickles your pickle, I'd suggest watching our review of the Anker Motion X600 speaker that we took for a little swim. But other than that, guys, thank you very much for joining. Hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you back for another episode of STU'S Reviews soon.